Foreign prince, succession plan. The crown's countdown. The marriage mandate. In the sterile, high-ceilinged conference rooms of the Moncloa Palace, where the hum of the air conditioning is the only sound breaking the tension of constitutional deliberation, a singular document lies beneath the gaze of Spain's legal elite. The marriage mandate, a strategic blueprint that dictates not only who Princess Léonor might love, but precisely when that love must be codified into a matter of state. While the Spanish Constitution of 1978 does not explicitly set a calendar date with a ticking clock, the unwritten laws of dynastic survival and the rigorous timeline of royal duty create a, de facto, deadline that looms over the Princess of Asturias like an invisible shadow. As she approaches the mid to late 2020s, the pressure is not merely social but systemic. The Spanish monarchy, unlike its more relaxed Scandinavian cousins, operates on a razor-thin margin of public approval, and the foreign prince plan is the mechanism by which the crown intends to secure its international legitimacy before the end of the decade. By the time Léonor reaches her late 20s, the expectation of a prince consort will have shifted from a distant possibility to an urgent constitutional necessity, driven by Article 57, which grants the king and the general courts, the Cortes Generales, the power to veto any union that does not serve the national interest. This means that Léonor's marriage window is effectively compressed into the period between the completion of her specialized military training and her eventual coronation, a period of roughly 8 to 10 years where she must find a partner who is not only personally compatible but diplomatically impeccable. If she fails to present a suitable candidate by the time she enters her third decade, the vacuum of the succession line creates political instability. A monarchy without a clear consort is a monarchy that invites Republican debate. The plan, therefore, is staged in phases. First, the vetted introductions, in the elite corridors of European summits. Second, the trial period, where a foreign prince is subtly introduced into the Spanish social fabric without the formal label of a suitor. And finally, the constitutional submission, where the king formally requests the blessing of the parliament. This timeline is rigid because it must account for the birth of the next heir. The biological reality of succession requires that the next generation, the infantes, who will follow Léonor, be born into a period of maximum dynastic stability. To delay marriage until her mid-30s would be seen by the traditionalists as a risk to the continuity of the Bourbon line, while to marry too early would risk the appearance of a forced, 19th-century arrangement that could alienate the modern, democratic Spanish public. Consequently, the foreign prince must be someone who bridges the gap between old-world nobility and 21st-century professionalism, a man who can stand 3 steps behind a queen regnant without appearing diminished, and who can satisfy the prohibition clause of the Cortes. Should Léonor choose to marry a commoner or a politically problematic foreign figure against the express prohibition of the king and the parliament, she would be excluded from the succession entirely under Article 57.4, passing the crown to her sister, Sophia. This succession sword creates a deadline that is not just about a wedding ceremony, but about the very survival of her right to rule. Every state visit to the United Kingdom, every gala in the Netherlands, and every royal wedding in Jordan is a tactical maneuver on a board where the clock is always running, pushing Léonor toward a destination where her personal freedom must eventually surrender to the strategic demands of the Spanish state. Key legal and dramatic elements used in the script. Article 57.4 of the Spanish Constitution, the core, veto, power. If Léonor marries someone the king or parliament forbids, she loses her right to the throne. The golden window, roughly between ages 25 and 32, seen as the peak time for a royal marriage to ensure dynastic continuity and public acceptance. The prince consort paradox, the difficulty of finding a high-ranking foreign prince who is willing to take a secondary role in a foreign court. The Cortes Generales, the Spanish parliament, which acts as the final arbiter of her choice, ensuring the marriage aligns with Spain's foreign policy. Would you like me to write a specific dialogue scene between Léonor and her advisors where they discuss the specific shortlist of foreign princes?